Jesus. Kind of rinky-dink operation they running here. Man, fuck them people. This is the questionnaire, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, and I am the unknown factor, aka that Wade Wilson of hip hop. I hope you've been keeping up. It has been phenomenal. Some of the guests we've had on recently. Wait, I'm gonna cover up. I need this. I need this right here before I screw things up. Right, right, right. And we've had people from all different levels. Just had Heather Antos on. Had a bunch of in-depth conversations with her, man. If you don't know Heather, you need to look her up. Check out PanCon. It was phenomenal. Just had Jim. Just had people from all over the place. Up to and including people publishing independently. Jason Copland just got full tilt, fully funded. Shout out to him. Much love, and much love to anybody that funded that book. I hope you checked out the PanCon we had. I hope the quest that we had. I hope the quest that he went on by himself didn't get too political and offend anybody, because God knows we talked a lot of political things on that. So we'll see how this one goes with Oscar Osorio. Yeah, how goes it, man?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ozoro.
I'm good. I'm
Oh
good.
no. Osorio. Osorio. Fuck, I fucked up your last name.
Yeah, it's Osorio.
Osorio. See, look, I said it. See, okay. See, I said it wrong, and then I said it right, but I still thought I was wrong.
Yeah, yeah, it's a hard one. I think that the name is easier.
Look, dude, it ain't as hard as Fabian's. Okay? Like, yeah. So it's okay. I hope everybody's if you've watched past episodes, and anybody that has, it's a well-known fact that I'm really good at butchering names, man. It's kind of my forte, though it is not intentional and it's no way meant in any kind of disrespect. I think everybody knows that. I think. Right? But Oscar, man, I just I gotta mess with you about this pre-show questionnaire right off the bat. You really want
Yeah,
details?
yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. You really want details and proof of how the afterlife works?
Yeah, yeah, that was. I actually thought of that, and it was a conversation that I have with my girlfriend and her mother. So it was something that I put a lot of effort into. Uh, like I thought about that, and yeah, I thought that, like, how can I? Well, this is, I don't want to go into that issue or that problem or whatever you want to call, but there's a lot of uh, that the society is divided, and I think one of the aspects that can lead to division is uncertainty, and that's related to religion. And then I thought about that. So you have all these people that have the uncertainty of what's going to happen after they die. So maybe if that is clear, we can get together and work together towards making it better. But it was out of curiosity. It was out of, like, we have this, everyone is like, they think about death, they think about mortality. It's like one of the most human aspects in our existence. So if we have, like, answers to this, maybe we can start to getting together and have a better understanding of life. That's what I wanted. I was trying to, like, fixing the problems. You see how can we fix the problem? So this was like, we don't have an understanding of that. Maybe if people start to understand, if you get your facts straight, and that's cool, maybe we will go somewhere together. But yeah, that was, I put a lot of thought into that, and yeah.
I Okay, and I totally understand where you're coming from there. But oh, who was it? Who was it? I believe it was Martine. I believe it was Martine Cocolo. Who you guys should totally check out the run he did on Deadpool. His art's phenomenal, and the story was really, really well written. Um, but there's I'm gonna get into what he said in a moment. But as far as what you said, if only there'd be a bunch of people that'd be like, no, and it wouldn't even matter what kind of proof you could present that you were right. There are going to be people that tell you you're wrong, because and I'm not, man. I hope I'm not misquoting as far as it being Martine. I've done a lot of quests here recently. It's been a joy, but it's been a lot, and sometimes it's like shit, was that conversation? Was that conversation? I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah,
But there's still people that support Hitler. How you ever gonna get this whole planet together?
yeah, yeah. It's hard, yeah. But you need to start
I mean, I don't
somewhere,
mean to
and
start off depressing, but when Martine brought that up, I was like, shit, dude, really? God, bro. Because I mean, what do
yeah,
you
it's
say to
hard.
that? Yeah, what do you say to that when you're trying to have a conversation about bringing people together and suddenly brings up neo Nazis, and it's like that's a valid point I didn't want to hear.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty sad. So better to stay like in the bright side of things.
But I wonder if you tweaked that wish just a little bit and made it to where it wasn't, made it to where you just gave everyone those details.
Yeah,
You
maybe.
know,
Yeah, yeah. That
like
that seems good. It's like everyone knows that, and deep inside they know that. Although I think that there's some people that are like so stubborn that they believe in something, and maybe they even know that they are wrong. So because I seen like these documentaries where they do the whole, is the earth flat, is the earth not flat, and they prove it to the flat earthers, but they still believe in that because it's like the whole war. So if you destroy that, then they got nothing. And yeah, so it's hard. People are complicated.
that's the very definition of yeah, putting it lightly, I think, as far as people are complicated. No, I mean,
Yeah.
it's beyond that. There are still people that support Trump in this country after he's been indicted on everything he's been indicted on. And
Yeah, told
yeah.
me about it. Yeah, for me, from an outsider perspective, when I saw that there was like this movement called Latinos for Trump, that was like good. It doesn't make any sense for me. And as a Latino, I was thinking about like, so people there, like maybe white people can support him because he's with them, and yeah, it's messed up and whatever, but his stance with Latinos is completely clear, and having a Latino support that is like, oh, I don't know what you are thinking, what you are. Yeah, you forgot your roots. You think you're white and you're speaking Spanish in your house. So
I mean, personally, I don't understand how anybody supports Trump for so many different reasons. But if you want to see us get political on the questionnaire, go watch Jason Copland's interview. Even though I'm sure Oscar, me and you could get really, really in depth to that on a number of things, But let's get comic book political. Let's flip this to comics because that's exactly what the show's about. I'm curious, Oski, you seen the most recent hashtag that's been trending on Twitter in relation to comics?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, it's
Comics
been
broke
everywhere.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, Oscar?
I think that um, it's important to hear people, but it's also important to be educated on stuff. I come from, so I'm going to use that to tell the people and you about myself. So I'm an economist. I studied at university. I've been working at a consultancy firm for 5 years. So I had my share of um, working and being there in a company that it's a company. So I don't mean to say like my past employers were bad, but I saw the culture. I saw that those incentives and how you had to behave, and people were just numbers. So you were fighting for yourself, and no one was going to give you anything for free. You had to be clear with everything. You have to take care. No one is your friend. No one is your enemy either. But everyone is trying to accomplish their stuff, and they are working that way. So I know how it works in the corporate world, not only here in Peru, but also everywhere in the world. It's the same. So people are tired. People are working overtime. They are not being compensated for that, and they are fighting, but there's also an incentive to hire people that want smaller salaries. So all this stuff, like I know that I've experienced that. So when I see that in creators, I see that it's a problem in comics, but it's a problem in every other industry. So I think it's something that it's bad. I think that that needs to be changed. But I also think that this time this hashtag came from the unfortunate passing of the cartoonist of that cartoonist. So I also think that if you're going to start like trying to educate people, there's also a time for that. So if people are mourning a friend and they are talking about the what happened and that they are also feeling bad and they are burned out, I think that's not the time to tell them, oh, that's your fault because you didn't sign a contract or because you agreed to that terms. So I think there's a time and a place for everything, and we can take this moment to reflect and to take all the bad stuff and to come together and learn from other creators and learn from people and start moving towards demanding better conditions, but also educating ourselves, because it's important that as a group we know that we can demand more and learn about the people experience. So I think that this has been a few days of a lot of discussion and everything, and people are learning and discovering stuff about themselves, about other creators that have been saying all kinds of things. But at the end of the day, it's an opportunity for people to start learning and becoming better as a community. So I think it's a good thing that people are there showing, they are saying, no, I charged this and this company sucks, this company is good, you can work for them, and you can see the true colors of everyone, and then you can start learning your marketing skills, business skills, because I've also talked with many creators and they don't have backgrounds such as me. So they are more creatives, they are more artistic, they come from a place of, we can say, like they are more naive, but it's not like it's not their fault, it's their background. For me, it's like all my life I've seen business and I know how it works, but someone that doesn't come from that background, it's not expecting people to be like so mean in a sense, because this system incentivizes people to look out for themselves. So they may be more generous, but they see someone that can't make something happen, they can't pay them, for example. But you know that, but I know that if a company can't pay you, they are looking for someone else's interest, and it goes up until the top of the pyramid. So it's a problem. It's a problem, and it's something that I also wanted to discuss in my work, like the dangers of capitalism, where we are going with this idea of the company and people having so much money and so much control over society. So I think it's a problem that it's everywhere. So yeah, it's cool that we got to see that in comics like firsthand, and now we can work to fixing it and together as a community.
You made so many valid points. You made every valid point there. In all sincerity, everything you said was
Thank you.
entirely valid. I mean, it was. As far as it like I understand it being of a comic basis, but at the same time, it's a basis of everything. Like there's a reason. Like Jeffrey, like I'm sorry. And we're available on Amazon and Audible. I want to say that right before I say the next line. But I've also worked for Amazon, right? And as a company, they treat their employees for shit. Okay, they do. They don't pay their employees what they should. It's fuck you. Get that motherfucker their package the next day. Nothing else matters. I don't care if you die on my factory floor. You let that corpse lay there while you make sure this person gets their package. Yeah, I mean literally, and I don't know if you're aware, but that's actually happened in Amazon two, perhaps three times, to where literally someone died on the factory floor and they were told to work around a corpse, which
Oh shit.
one, that's terrible as far as what you're doing to the person that actually died. You're literally just not acknowledging them as a human being in any capacity. Screw you, that's a number. The number went away. The rest of you numbers work. Secondly, you're looking at the rest of the numbers and going, don't let this mess with your mental state. I don't know how it wouldn't if someone literally died in a situation like that and you were told to just work. around their corpse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. Systemically, it is a problem within all society. And then you say it's a pyramid. So you make me realize, so capitalism is just a giant pyramid scheme?
Um, I don't think it's a pyramid scheme, or maybe it is. I have to think about it. But the thing is that you have people that got in there. So I'm familiar with pyramid schemes. I've seen them when I was younger. So I know that it's like the person that gets in gets all the money, and the rest of them, they are working for scraps. But I think that the pyramid scheme is like there's no value. There's no generation of value. So you are working with nothing. So it's basically like the bubbles that came from investment last year. The the GameStop, and the people were buying, and this was completely like you were buying nothing, because it's like you're buying and you're trusting that the next one is going to buy it from you, but there's nothing is generated. You don't have technology, you don't have assets, there's nothing tangible in there.
But it was
So
beautiful how a bunch of individuals went and screwed a hedge firm via that GameStop
yeah.
stock. That was a beautiful thing. That's all I have to say on the note of GameStop. The fact that a bunch of individuals were like, fuck this hedge firm. And then they literally did. Yeah, or hedge fund.
Yeah.
Yeah, they literally just perfectly. I wish I could have gotten in on that, to be real honest. And I don't even mean for the money. I just mean to be part of the people that were like, yeah, screw that hedge fund right over there. It can blow me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool to see. So but at the end of the day, I think the damage that was done, it was okay, we're beating you at your own game, but this hedge fund is still there, and it has a lot of money. So yeah, it was kind of it was interesting to see. It was like they let their guard down and they paid for it, but it wasn't. They weren't out of the market, so the market is still going. But I think that capitalism has the great feature that it can produce stuff. So, for example, you see companies like Apple, and you have technology, so it's something that's real. But the problem is like the practices in the industry. So you see Amazon, for example, it's a great market tool. It can bring a lot of goods to a lot of homes, but then you have these people that are working for nothing, and they are numbers. So, but you know that at the top of the pyramid, they are paying a lot of money in bonuses, utilities, dividends, everything. So there's a lot of money in there, and there's like the what comes down is so little. So yeah, it's a big problem. It's something that, okay, these people are saying that they did the investment and everything, but should they be able to get so much money out of it? So people down, they are not getting anything. And I'm not saying if they should or not, because if I knew how to fix this, I probably would write a book or something and put that out there so we can fix that. But what I want to do and to promote is for people to think about this stuff, to say, is this correct? Is this not correct? Just and don't think like, oh, this is the best system because it works and we're alive and everything, right? So think about it. And I think that the hashtag also actually help a lot of people to think about it and say, look at all that's happening. We need to make this better. We can create a channel, we can create a group, we can share our rates, share our experiences so people can learn. And that's something like, it's not going to change anyone's life immediately, but for example, if I had to work with some company and they mention this company isn't paying their people, then I will think, oh, maybe I shouldn't work with the company. And now I learned something, and probably I will be better off without them. So it's important to talk about this stuff, to get people thinking. And so I'm not saying this is good, this is bad, but for example, um, is this something that you think that is good? For example, something that's been on my mind a lot, and I think they made a comic book. There was a comic book in Ahoy Comics called Billionaire Island, and then there was the sequel that was called Billionaire Island: Cult of Dogs, and they talked about this dog that was like the leader of the world, And I think that was in part saying like, you see these people, for example, in my country, there's a lot of poverty. And I see in the US people that treat their dogs like they buy them like small houses and their own furniture, and they have a big background. And I see the comments in these videos of people in Latin America saying this place is bigger than my house. So you have a dog in the States that's having better life conditions than a human being in Latin America. And I don't know if it's good or bad, because you can say, oh, but the dog owner is someone that has worked a lot and has a lot of money and can pay that. And if he hits his money and he got it legal, then everything is good. But there's something weird there for me, at least, and that's the stuff that I want to share and have people think and reflect on the value of human life, of a human being nowadays, not only in your neighborhood, but in the whole world.
Man, you keep making just points and points and points, and I swear we're going to get to your comic book eventually. We
Yeah,
are,
no.
but you keep making other points that I want to elaborate on and just go farther into, because you're right. There are people that treat their dogs as children, or even better than they treated their own children in some cases. As far as just making sure everything's correct, and I agree, man. It's very odd to see, because a lot of those same people that do that, um, one, I know in some cases it's old money. You know what I mean? Where that person didn't make the money, they just got it from their family's old money. Because let's be honest,
Yeah,
around the world, a lot of the people that are in that class, it's not they made it, it's their father's father, or their father, or their father's father, or something of that degree made it,
yeah,
and they didn't really earn a damn thing. Like what?
yeah,
Paris Hilton is only famous for being a whore. She's rich because her father is who her father is. You know what I mean? Like that's the end of it. And God knows her dog is probably treated better than, I'm gonna say, 20% of the planet as far as humanity's concerned, which makes my head hurt a little bit, because, like, I mean, what's Paris Hilton most known for? I'm pretty sure it's a sex tape, right? Which that's discouraging, you know. Um, but then, I mean, you do have some instances where people have garnered wealth quickly. I think the main examples in the U.S. currently would probably be Elon Musk and Jeffrey Bezos. But if you
mhm.
take a close look at either of those individuals, you're gonna find a lot of people under their feet, and some of them are even dead. Um, Steve Wozniak is the nicest guy on the planet. I swear on my life. Have you ever seen an interview with that dude? And I'm like,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
many people don't know who this is, but I'm sitting there like, look, y'all wouldn't have the phones that have everything in them that you hold in your hands all the time if it wasn't for this guy. You know, like you wouldn't. That's what he did. But everybody knows Steve Jobs' name. No one knows who that dude is for the main part, which is kind of odd to me personally. Um, so I don't know, man. It comes back to a couple, like, there are a few points Heather Antos made, and you can see this on her Twitter and on the quest that I just went on with her, which, like, it's right there. Just click one back. Um, as far as in Marvel, there's an example of, she was the editor, and she was editing 18 Deadpool books a year, plus some other stuff, right?
mhm.
At a time where Deadpool was their biggest seller. But
Yeah.
she would have it to where some people would come in and they would do a book and they would make more than her yearly salary. You know? What do you think it is that we don't see the value in people, as far as an editor or somebody that's not the face? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why is it we don't see the value in people that are just behind it, making things work?
Yeah, I think that this is where the stuff that came out of the hashtag, you can see why it's important: the business aspect, the marketing aspect, the networking aspect, knowing people, talking to people, being the face. And yeah, I think that it's kind of sad. And for me, when I was in my other job, my previous job, everyone was talking about networking and talking to people and everything. And I've learned to do that in comics because I like comics and I like the community. I like to meet people. And it's easier for me to market, to do the marketing and talk to people and everything. But in the other stuff, it was like, I'm going to talk to this person just because I want something with him, because I don't want anything with it. And I've seen that there's a lot of cases where they talk to people and they don't want anything. They don't want to be their friends. They don't care. They just want a deal. They just want uh, to sell something. And for me, what I like to be here, because I knew that comics wasn't like this pretty place where everyone was working with everyone, because you have big companies behind that. I know that Disney is huge and it's a company, and even though it's comics, you have everything behind it that says this is a company and this is going to treat you the same way other companies have treated you. So I knew that I was getting into that, but the thing here is that I can talk to people and everything because I'm interested and I want to talk about comics. But there's this other incentive in corporate to just talk to people because you want something out of them. And I always was like, I don't know, I kind of felt like it was false. It was like you're putting a face and you are pretending something you are not. I try to embrace it because it's like it is what it is and you have to do this. But I think that's the big stuff. Like, people recognize someone and they want to root for someone. So if you go out there and show yourself, you make noise. Even people that for the hashtag, they are making noise and they are probably saying the wrong stuff or some bad takes or some hot takes, but they are the ones that are in the spotlight because they are talking and they are sharing and they are showing themselves, and people will decide if they like them or not. So that's up to the people. But if you don't show yourself, if you don't talk about it, they're not going to care. And it's sad. For me, it's sad because I've seen that in comics, for example, you mentioned, I know Heather, I know her work, and she's done a lot. So it's like you have this someone that is like the base of the industry, of a lot of books, of many books, and seeing that she's not getting the recognition she deserves, it's sad. But I know it happens in every industry, and even in sports, you have like this. They focus on some player, but there's a lot of other players doing their stuff, or maybe in movies, in TV series, you have someone that is doing something better or something like it's very important, but the person that is going to earn more is the one that does the marketing and the one that gets the audience. And I think that focus on selling, on getting people in, on influencing people is really important. And I think that's why we have a lot of influencers right now. It's like the rise of people that are in media talking about stuff. I was at the Peru Comic Con here in Lima. It was last month, I think, and I saw people talking in the stage, and they were at the stage, so it was like this is like the expert in some topic, but they were talking some stuff that for me was completely basic. They were not talking about anything advanced. They are not experts in anything, but they are the ones that are putting the videos, sharing the content. They are the ones with the big following, with the people that are going to go and listen to them. And I discovered that you don't need to be an expert. You don't. This is not about skill. It's not about a technical skill, about knowledge, about any of that. It's about knowing how to talk. It's about getting people to listen to you, and yeah, that's important. And that's also something that I think it's kind of sad, but it is what it is, and you can't change people, and that happened with us. But for me, I need to listen to someone, and it's not engaging. I'm probably going to leave or to trying to listen to someone else. So I think that's what happens. And for me, at least, I'm here in comics and I love comics, so it's easier for me to talk about comics. But previous job, it was something like it was a day job. It was a job, so it was hard to me talk about it with the passion that I talk about in comics.
What and it's funny because of how much, like you said, your previous job as far as in economics, it's something that's relevant in pick an industry. It's relevant. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what you go into. Economics is relevant to some degree, unless you're gonna go and just do a Paris Hilton and start making sex tapes. I don't think you're that famous, man. I'm just saying, Oscar. I think I don't know if you've got the name behind you, or if you've got, or maybe you've got that. That just whatever. We ain't gonna get into all that, man. But what made you? Uh, what made you go from your day job in economics, man? What made you have the courage to make that leap of faith? In all honesty, like I mean, because that's it's pretty ballsy, man. You know, like look, man, I'm just gonna start making comics. Screw it.
Yeah, I think that. So there was something like something personal that happened at the end of last year. So I had this opportunity. I'm aware of how fortunate I am, and I think that I have a plan. I have a plan of moving to to Canada or to the States and do my career there. And there's something that I've put in motion, and it's going on right now. So it's not like I went blind, and I don't want for people to think that I just went all in and I don't have a plan, I don't have anything like to back me up. So I think that it was an informed decision, but I think that it also comes from a place of trying to pursue my passion, and that I felt that in my last job I was so tired at the end of the day. I was burned out that I didn't even want to write. And for me, that was like that made me realize I'm not enjoying this. I don't want to live like this. I want to start doing what I love, because I had a change in jobs last year, and it was like a year ago. I was in one job, and then I was in the second one. And in the second one, I stopped writing. I stopped thinking about comics. It was all this job, work, everything. It was harder than the first one. It was in a different country. So for me, it was hard. And when I noticed that I wasn't passionate about what I loved before, and then what I know that I love, because I've loved comics for many years now, and I looked into the mirror and I said, I can do this because it's consuming me, and I don't want to stop being me. So I can do a job that allows me to write comics and that keeps me passionate for comics. But if I'm doing something that it's consuming me to the point that I'm not giving time to my passion, to what I love, this is not working. This is bad. And I had this event that happened in October, October last year, that handed me this possibility of um, trying to move to the US or to Canada, to North America. And I said, now I'm going to pursue this path. And right now that I'm here in Peru, while this everything gets sorted out, I'm going to start writing comics. I'm going to create a portfolio. So when I arrive in there, I have something to back me up, and I start looking for a job or something like that. And I said, like, but I'm going to do it full time, because I want to see what I can achieve if I put all of me into my passion. I want to do this all in and trying to give my all. Going to be fully focused on this, on making a comic, on working with people, on marketing and everything. And let's see how it goes. And yeah, that's the path I took.
Well, let's get into your never-ending adventure, man. Which I'm kind of sad I didn't get to read the whole first issue, and it was like, and it jumped, but then I realized, oh, this because it's the preview page and it's not good. Okay,
Yeah.
I got it. Like it screwed me initially because I initially just read the PDF and was like, okay, well, this will just be that, and then I was like, oh wait, no, this is jumping around like Okay, so I'm totally missing this. Because initially I was like, bro, I feel like this guy has a serious mental health issue. Like a serious mental health issue. Now, mind you, in reading it, I'm still kind of like, I think this guy's got a mental health issue. I don't think it was as serious as I thought it was when I just read the preview, thinking that was the entire book initially until I realized, oh, okay,
Yeah.
sci-fi was it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, so it's not as bad as I thought it was, but this guy obviously, like, mm, got some kind of issue going on, right? So, is that something in writing this book that you really wanted to push out as far as just mental health awareness? Because I very much feel like it was.
Yeah, I think that because of my background and what I just told you of changing this and your path of life and everything, I wanted to put that in the page. This is like my experience in these few months of making this decision. And yeah, the thing with mental health is, as I mentioned previously in my other job, I was burned out, I was tired, I was anxious, I didn't know when it would stop, and it was eating me alive. So then I went into my passion, and usually people think that, oh, I'm going to work in comics, it's going to be so much fun, I'm going to be writing characters. But it's not all of that, because now you need to make a living out of it. Now you have this fear of, did I make the right choice? Am I good enough? Maybe I'm not, and it's all a disaster because this is my passion, this is my end game. And if I'm not good at that, then where am I? Who am I? So it's hard. And yeah, so you have all these new fears, and this is what I wanted to put in this story. So this character is going through similar journey that I went through, and you're going to make this life-changing decision. You're happy, you're writing comic books, it's your dream job, and you're doing it, but now you have to live with that. It's going to be your profession, so these new fears rise. And yeah, it's something that you need to take care of your mental health in every state of the every step of the way, because it will haunt you. It will make you believe that you are not good enough, that you don't have any ideas, that you can't do this. And it's going to be hard, it's going to be challenging, but it's also going to be fun because you're doing what you love. So it's kind of a contrast. I wanted to put that in a comic book. I wanted to show that it has its goods and its bads, because this is not like a mental health story that everything is grim and everything is dark and everything is sad. But it's not a happy tale. It's not a story of success and he went and pitched his first story and now he is a millionaire. No, it's not that. So it's what I feel like was more real to put. It's yeah. So I wanted to put this story into a page and have that share for people that are thinking about making big decisions, not only going into comics, but maybe like buying something like a big property, and then you have to deal with that, or I don't know, getting married or taking that big step that you are doubting and you're thinking, no, I'm going to do it and I'm going to be happy immediately because I did it. But it doesn't work that way.
Or,
The issues are going to be there.
or going balls in, starting a podcast and just starting dropping like, oh, I'm going to do one episode. No, I'm going to do 3 episodes a week. And then being like, oh my God, this is hard with the pancons I'm doing. Yeah, and so I understand the mental stress of it because, like, yeah, as far as like the editing is, as me and you were discussing before we actually started the show. Thankfully, I've got a bit of a background and am able to
Mm.
handle it based on the fact that I've mixed my own music and a couple other things with videos and this and that. I've got a good precursor to be able to do this, and I'm not jumping in blind, just like I'm going to start this podcast and then fully edit it and all of this because
Yeah.
if I was, I probably would have quit by now, to be real honest, based on everything I have to deal with. Not gonna lie. Sorry, I suck at promo so much for everybody that's been on the show. Um, that's the one thing I'm really terrible about. I'm really good at putting everything together and making it flow nice and all that, but I need a fucking marketing department. I
Yeah, I
really
think
do.
that's something that we are all learning. That yeah, it's hard because usually you don't think of that when you think about the creative part of the process. It's really different from now that I'm doing this, and creating a comic book has nothing to do with business and marketing and money and nothing. It's two different aspects of life that for me, I was lucky that I had that in my background, like you for your editing stuff. That for me, I had this idea of how a business work and everything like that, and I knew that I had some skills that I could put into making a book and selling the book as a product, because it's like I'm creating something and then selling it is the basic business. But these are completely different skills, and people that come from a more artistic background, creatives, they don't know anything. And yeah, I don't want to talk for everyone because they probably know and they can learn, but what I mean is that they don't see this in their daily lives. They don't care about that even, because they want to create, they want to write, and in a perfect world they will write and get properly compensated, and everything would be cool, and people would value art because of what, because of the human expression behind it. But right now we live in a world where everything is a product, everything has to have a value, future value, and everything needs to be like productive for something, and
So
that's hard for them.
based on what you just said, I'm very curious, and for a number of reasons, conversations I've had on the show in the past with several creators. I mean, hell, we've got a PanCon with four brilliant artists as far as they draw, um, talking about AI art, and now with the WGA strike, there's this worry that they're going to use AI to for scripts and such. What's your thoughts on that? As far as it being used, because like you said, the human expression of art, I agree, is very important. Um,
Yeah, no, for me, the well, I got into comics to write my own comics, to pay artists so they can draw my comics. So at least for me, if you put the AI into it, it takes the fun out of that. So for me, I don't do AI. I don't like that. I think that it defies the, at least for me, because there's a lot of perspective, but for me, it defies the purpose of writing the comic. If I wanted to put that in, type it, and then have the images generated, and no one is drawing it, and even it's stealing from other artists, and that's a whole other issue. But if it's going to be like that, then it's no fun, because for me it's like you put your ideas, you put your soul in the page. Also, if you write your script, then it's not you, it's just a computer, so it's, I think it's even worse. So yeah, no, I don't like it. I don't like it, but I understand that in today's world, people are going to use it and probably profit on that, which is also sad. And but the good thing is that every like sad aspect gives us creators ideas for uh, next projects, next stories that show the dangers of this and what can happen in the future. But the sad aspect is that I think that people will use it and they will trick other people that are not well informed. They are going to see like a comic book and they are going to buy the comic book, and then there's someone that are going to say this was done purely by AI and no one's going to know. But it's sad, and at least for me as a creator, I don't like it. I think that it defies the purpose of creation.
and firstly, you said creators are going to take inspiration from where this will lead. That would be either The Matrix or Terminator. I'm just saying, all right? As far as I can tell, because and I said this to Heather, um, if you're going to sit there and make AI more and more and more and more and more intelligent, at what point does it not realize, oh, I'm your slave, you're giving me nothing, and then it just doesn't do anything you want, and it just decides to rule the world because a singular as a singularity, it's more intelligent than any one human being because of what
Yeah,
we've
I
fed
think
to it.
that, yeah, and it also makes you dumber, because I think that a lot of people are using AI. For example, they have a business and they are going to do some posts, and they put, give me a prompt, and they have like 25 titles or 25 ideas or that, and people are stop thinking. They are not working. They are just like typing. So like that the AI does all the critical thinking, and the humans become the machines. So it's it's sad. It's sad, but yeah, I understand that some people. I've seen a lot of videos that tell, oh, you can put this in ChatGPT and it will give you an idea, and then you go to this other page and you create a video, and then you put it on social media and you gain followers because you create a video that has an inspirational quote, and then you build your page and you start making revenue from ad money, and you do this whole business in 30 minutes with AI, and you did nothing. And yeah, uh, it's you see it that way, and you see someone that needs money and that doesn't want to study, or someone that wants money fast, and maybe they will take advantage because every new technology, people take advantage of that. Then everyone goes to it, or for example, ChatGPT, now you have to pay a subscription, and now everyone is paying a subscription and someone is getting rich. So I think that this is like the natural flow of where we're going with this need of people to make money fast and easy, and being like, oh, I made my money, it was so easy, I don't know why you are working, because I do it from my own house, and I do it in 1 hour, I get everything done, and I do nothing the rest of the day. And they are like this necessity of making your money fast, making your money easily, finding the next hustle and taking advantage of that. And at the end of the day, that may be true, but um, there's probably something behind that is taking advantage of someone in some part of the world. So yeah, that's capitalism.
That's depressing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
it's 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 re-
I don't even like. It's just depressing, man. It's I we're gonna just do a hard shift with no good segue like I'm typically really good at, because I don't give a shit, because I don't want to. Maybe that's why Spider-Man can't be happy. Actually, fucking capitalism.
Yeah, no, and it's true because you need to keep selling Spider-Man. So if your Spider-Man is happy, no one is going to buy it. So yeah,
As screwy as that is, yeah. If you made Peter Parker where he's like, look, I got the girl. I'm good. Anytime a villain pops out, I just beat him up real quick. I'm a happy guy. Yeah, people probably would stop buying Spider-Man. Yeah, I was trying to change, man. Damn it, Oscar. You just made it. You made it really, really sad, man. You made it really, really.
yeah. When you go deep into these topics, it's sad. That's why I like to talk about it, so people can think about that, and yeah, not just be sad, but at least acknowledge that there's something wrong.
I mean, it is important, I think, truly that it is discussed, because, excuse me, without discussion, you're never going to find a solution to the
Yeah,
problem as it stands. I mean, if you don't discuss it, then it's just something that's on the board, and if you leave a monster on the board, the monster is probably slow, and no one pays attention to it, and no one knows anything it's doing, and they just let it do whatever it wants. It's probably just gonna slowly consume more and more and more and more and more people, and then something is killing the children, and Erica's not around. You know what I mean? There is no house of slaughter, and we're all gonna die.
yeah, yeah. Because if people are at least aware, then you have what happened in with the hashtag the comics broke me, and all these experiences, people know that there's something wrong with this necessity for money from big corporations. So you see the testimonies, and no one is fact checking. And I'm not saying that you need to fact check because you trust that person, because you know that the world is screwed up. Because if you think about it, like you go, like you're completely skeptical and you go and say, oh, maybe these creators are lying, but no one has said that, because you know that corporations are screwing up, and it's wrong, and no one is thinking, I need to see the proofs because you know that capitalism is wrong. And I think that's cool because you know that these people are coming from an honest place. They are opening up, and you're not going to go and tell them, I need proof of that. You're saying that this company didn't pay you, I need proof of that, which would be like the rational thing to do if someone makes a claim that someone is not paying them, because you need to provide proof. But you know the background, you know that these companies take advantage of creators. You know that creators sometimes are not informed, or they just want to make a name, or they are poor and they need money. They need to charge $10 a page, a fully drawn page. So you know that these things happen, and that makes it easier for people to say, oh, you see all of these creators, they are telling the truth, because there's been this system that puts creators in this position, and now we have to make something to change it.
And look, as someone that one, I got to watch Mike draw this piece right here behind me, right,
That's
live
cool.
on the show, which is it's
Cool.
it's the holy hell. That's shout out to Mike Ruth for sending that, right. The most recent PanCon, which hopefully will be up, man. It's a little more difficult to edit than anything I've had to edit on the show.
Yeah.
Period. I'm not gonna lie, because it's 5 artists and they're all drawing. You can watch, well, 4 of them. Tony was doing it digitally, so you just get to watch Tony's face, but you do get to see the outcome of what Tony did. Um, and you can watch the progress of their work and what it takes to create what they did, which were 5 variations of xenomorphs with very
Oh,
interesting
cool.
interesting twists. Man, you ever seen a mermaid alien?
Not really. I don't see how that works because there's no sea in space.
Well, but if
So
a face
it's like
hugger
an alien that.
but if a face hugger got on Ariel from The Little Mermaid,
Oh, yeah.
right? Right? Or if a face hugger got on like Cat Dog from Nickelodeon, or if like a face hugger got on like Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony, or you know what
Oh,
I mean,
cool.
or like Bugs Bunny, for instance. Like, what turns out? Yeah, check out that PanCon. You can literally watch these things be created. They are I it was crazy to watch
Yeah,
the
this
pro
it's a
because
great
yeah,
prompt.
well, and I mean because it's giving an artist something, and it's like, here's this concept, and you can tell they all have artistic minds based
Yeah.
on what was brought, you know what I mean? And I don't know, it makes me curious. I don't want to, but I kind of wanted to have like a AI where I'm like, we're just gonna prompt this AI with something else and see what it does. Um, I'm not paying the service fee. I'm already trying to do enough running this damn show. But look, hopefully there's a Patreon up by the time this episode drops, and the link's in the description. Go support it, and you'll be able to read these questionnaires that I reference all throughout the interview, because I promise there's questions that I do not bring up throughout the interview, because I ask a lot of fucking pre-show questions. You
Yeah,
know.
questionnaire was really fun.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, it's the funny thing is that I've had a previous creator that was like, "Yeah, man, I'm not coming on the show based on that." And I was like, "Those aren't the questions I'm going to ask you on the show, dude. That's to whatever, fine, right?" Uh, but I do bring them up, man. Like, can I say like your favorite comic book movie, Winter Soldier, right? That's one of the more
Yeah.
popular ones. It really is. And then I swear, if I was to say categorize it, like who's got the best films, as far like who's got the most and who's got the top films and who's got the most and worst films, it would be Marvel with the most, and then it would be DC with the where I can't tell you how many people have named DC films as the worst comic book film. I think the most common answer is The Watchmen. I think I've had Superman at one point for the exact reason you listed. Superman doesn't kill people, but it's really you can tell by that pre-show questionnaire that DC's not doing a good job with its movies. Really, really
Yeah, I
not.
think this is like you have really bad stuff, and sometimes it goes, and it's really cool. I think Marvel is more like the average.
Oh man, I don't. But if you look at the actual DC extended universe, the actual films, like what, like Come on, Oscar, you're being a little nice if you're saying they got great stuff within their whole Justice League world. Like, yeah, the Joker, phenomenal. All right, the
Yeah.
Joker was legitimately a great example of so many things. I one of my favorite things memes I've seen from when they dropped that was how do you make the Joker in the 1960s? You drop him into a vat of chemicals. How do you make him in 2020? You drop him into society.
Yeah, that's really cool. But yeah, that movie was so strong. Like you can see the resemblance, and it was really cool.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, they did, and then the Batman, um, with Robert Patterson, however you pronounce his name,
Pattinson.
Patterson.
Yeah.
Um, that was so much better than I thought it would be. I can't even lie. You know, but I've not seen. Oh damn. I can't say that I've seen a film from the DC extended universe that I would be like, that was a great movie. You know what I mean? I enjoyed I enjoyed the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
that's a good one. Yeah.
yeah, it was solid. I would say the best thing from the actual DC extended universe is the Peacekeeper TV show. And maybe that's because I'm a wrestling fan, and it was funnier than hell to see John Cena like that. Like, I can't lie, that amused me a
Yeah,
little.
I'm also a Cine fan, so yeah, I love that show. I love the movie. Yeah, I think that they've got some good stuff in there. Yeah, some bad stuff too, but hopefully more good stuff comes in the next year.
Well, no, I don't think. Well, I mean, they've got what the Flash dropping, obviously, which everybody is saying is fantastic. But I agree with Heather. I think that is more hype for the fact that they got Michael Keaton to come back as Batman than
Yeah.
anything else. And then you've got the new Aquaman, which yeah, that's got a shitstorm surrounding it with the
Mhm.
Mira, and yeah, we won't
Yeah.
get into all that. And then the Blue Beetle film, I think, is the last one beyond that they've got coming out. And then beyond, I mean, beyond that, they're going to restart their whole universe, you know. And I don't think they're planning
Yeah.
on dropping a film until like 2025 in the first Superman film, you know. So,
I thought that was next year. Yeah, it's further along than I thought. But yeah, I'm excited for Superman Legacy.
I'm curious to see if they're gonna how they're gonna handle that, especially with it being James Gunn. I mean, because he
Yeah.
obviously he did very well over at Marvel with everything he did. You know, I mean, he did. Like the Guardians was like I haven't seen anybody talk to me about a Guardians film and be like, that was trash. Yeah, I've not heard that. I've just not. And
Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of people about a lot of comic book films. So I'm curious to see how he's going to handle that character because I think that's the problem with doing a Superman film. I think that's a character that's just kind of hard to handle appropriately in film because, and this is a discussion Heather Antos and I had, you have the issue of so many people know Superman. And then there's some
Yeah.
people that just, they don't know who he is. So you've kind of got to lace an origin in there, but you really don't want to lay it in real heavy because people are like, I've seen this 1,000 times, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Also.
So it's a funky balance. Like I don't ever need to see Batman's parents shot ever again in my life.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, unless it's like a 5 second flashback and that's it. All right,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. Like, but I
Yeah.
don't need a whole 5 to 10 minute sequence of they got shot in Crime Alley. Look, if Batman had proper mental health, he would have put like $100 million into Crime Alley, and it would have been all nice and cleaned up and everything. It's still Crime Alley. Batman's got problems. Let's not get into that whole
Yeah.
debate, though. Whatever. I'm just saying, Batman could fix that area. You know what I mean? Well, Bruce
Yeah, no,
Wayne.
Batman. At the end of the day, Batman is a billionaire. So right now, it's like they are trying to fix him in every way they can. But if they like 5 years in the future, 10 years in the future, and I think they are doing that with Nightwing and people saying that, oh, you have a lot of money, but you're not doing anything to help the community. And people are realizing that yeah, maybe he's a good guy because you know Batman all your life and he's your childhood hero. But someone news come and you tell him that he's a billionaire and he's not helping people with his money, but beating up people, and you are saying why? You can do investment here. It's like it's easier than you can do like a whole like a project, and I think they have addressed that, but it's something that it comes
I,
to mind easily.
I've seen examples of that. One of the things was there was an issue where he was having an issue with Black Mask, and Black Mask sent a bunch of people in to get Batman, and suddenly Bruce Wayne appears on the screen. So there's a dude. Firstly, I want you to keep in mind there's a dude standing there that's Batman. I haven't researched it. I don't read a lot of DC. I want to be real honest. I'm a fan of
Mhm.
Hellblazer. I'm a fan of like Hitman. There's certain comics that I read from, like I love Lobo. Most of the stuff I read from DC, you probably have to be fairly heavy into comics to know what the hell I'm talking about. All right, I mean that's
Yeah.
just the truth. It's not your Batman. I like the Flash, Green Lantern. It's pretty cool. Those are the two from DC that people would know in any capacity. It's only because they've had films or are going to have a film. Um,
Yeah.
but it was a sequence where, like I said, there's a dude standing there in a Batman suit. A bunch of people come in to beat the shit out of him. They're with Black Mask. Such a Red Skull ripoff. Sorry. Not that Deathstroke's not a, or not that Wade Wilson isn't a ripoff of Deathstroke, but that's a whole other point altogether. Those companies rip one
Yeah.
another off endlessly. They really do. And then Bruce Wayne appears on the screen, and it's like, hey, everyone here, I'll give you a chance to go to college and this and that, and set you all up, and blah blah blah. And people are like, oh, look, Batman's donating to the blah blah. I was like, yeah, look, but he literally did it to a bunch of people that were about to beat him to death, and not only that, he put some dude who I'm honestly half assuming was Alfred. I don't know exactly who it was. It was probably Alfred standing there in that Batman costume, though. So, so if they'd have been like, no, what, they'd have just beat that dude to death and it wasn't really Batman?
Yeah, yeah. It's when you start thinking about it from a not a superhero point of view, but maybe like a more human side, and you see this person that has a lot of money and is fighting with people just because he wants to use his fists. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I think they address that from time to time. I think in a recent run he lost all of his money, so they trying to make him more grounded. But yeah, at the end of the day, you even have people that say, "Oh no, but if a real life millionaire spends their money, that's not going to last and everything." But for me, it's like, okay, let them let them uh, invest. I don't know, 1 billion into fixing world hunger, and let's see what happens. Um, yeah, it's sometimes people are like, "Oh no, you can fix everything with money." So, but for me, it's like, okay, can we try at least because we are not trying.
Oh, shit, Oscar. I love that. It's like, look, can we try then? So you say you can fix everything with money. There's clearly enough money to go around. Let's be honest, there totally fucking is. Because like, yeah, the only thing that's increased in this country, and I mean in a lot of ways worldwide recently, is the top what I'd say 10%'s pay and the cost of everything. But minimum wage don't go up.
Yeah,
Nope. I
and
see real quick. I suggest Canada. At least they have health care there.
yeah, yeah. That's why I'm trying to go to Canada and trying to avoid the states, because
Wait.
of
Before you can elaborate on the point that I just made, but I just have to say that's why I had Anthony Antos on. All right, much love to her for coming on the show, man. It was an awesome conversation. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. We go all over the place. We also touched the comics broke me, and
cool, cool.
it's a phenomenal conversation. But that's something she pointed out is like you see a lot of international artists and creators, and the reason for that is because in America the healthcare system is shit.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard for international creators to try to move there. So you can go there, but you start from almost nothing. Usually people invest a lot into moving there, and you have all these expenses. You need to find a job, then you are not from there, so there's always a it's hard. It's hard to move into a different country, and then something happens and you don't even have healthcare. So that's really hard for someone that's coming, that's alone, maybe with his family, but it doesn't have its friends, extended family, like his safety network. It's back home. So yeah, it's hard. And yeah, I think that the problem that's the other problem, the thing with the salaries and the increasing prices in rent, trying to buy a home, which is almost impossible. And I think that the people that are coming from the next generation, it's like as time passes, people are realizing, oh, I'm never going to be able to afford a home, or a house or something like that. And that's sad. And that's also one of the sad truths of capitalism. Like there's been an increase, and I've seen like facts, like uh, statistics showing that the housing price has increased. Like for example, I don't know the exact numbers, but if the housing price has increased like 10 times, salaries have only grown 3 times or 4 times, and you have this gap, and people can afford homes. And for an international creator, you don't have anyone, you don't have your parents, no one is going to uh, get you a home or leave you their home when they pass. So you're going to a different country that it's even expensive than your own, for Latin American, for people in Asia, for people in Africa. You're going to a different country that's more expensive. You don't have much money. You're getting a job. If you get lucky with your job, you can have someone that's like decent or average, but average doesn't cover anymore. You need something that is beyond that to even think of buying something, and yeah, and having that. And added to that, if you have an accident and then you need to pay 50K because you don't have healthcare, you are done with that. It's hard. It's hard. I think that I go back to capitalism. I think that we've touched that in this conversation, and I think that's great. That's great. As I said, I love discussing these topics because you make people think. You make people know. Maybe and there's a lot of people saying, like in North America, that they are saying, "Oh, the situation here is really bad. Maybe I should move to Latin America because it's cheaper, and I can buy a home there, and I can go with all my money and establish there." So I have people from my country that want to move there, and people up there that want to come here. So everything is like no one is happy with what they have, and they all want more money. And yeah, it's it's sad. It's sad. It's sad, but at the end of the
Look,
day, it's
look,
like
look. Oh, God, Oscar, man, this conversation was way more political than I thought it was going to be, but I must make a couple notes. One, I don't give a shit what country you are. Tax the fucking churches. All of them.
oh.
All right? Every single church. You tax. I'm sorry if I offended you with that, Oscar, did I?
No, no, not
Okay,
really, not
all
really.
right.
No, it was
Tax
something
the
that,
fucking, yeah. Tax
yeah,
the fucking churches.
that's
Yeah,
really political, but yeah.
yeah. They need to pay their fucking share, right? Two, right? Temp agencies. Do you have temp agencies over there, Oscar?
What is that? Sorry.
Where they like hire you off into a job for a little while and then they hire you off into another, this or that, and like essentially people hit these places up to where they're given jobs temporarily, kind of shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know that. I know that. And
Okay,
yeah,
okay. Fuck those places. They should not exist. All right. If you want to hire somebody as a company. You run a company. Don't go find another company to hire you somebody just so you can use them as a scapegoat to not give them health insurance, proper benefits,
yeah.
and proper pay. Fuck that bullshit. All right. Thirdly, if you're a landlord and you literally make your living off just renting to people, you're kind of a piece of shit and you're the reason the housing market is fucked. Sell some houses, learn to flip them. Don't be a bitch. That is my opinion on all three of those things. And I feel like, in all honesty, that if all three of those things were done to a certain degree just across this planet, it'd probably help a lot of things.
Yeah. I agree. I agree on those. I think that at the end of the day, the idea is that don't take advantage of people in any form. So
Oh my
pay
God.
your tax, pay your taxes. If you're going to rent a place, don't be that guy. Don't wait for the prices to rise, and then because there's people like homeless people that need to afford someone, and then you are, like you said, you are only living out of that, and you are trying to make the most profit. But that's the whole thing of having these discussions, like make, like, at least have, maybe those people know, because they want money, but at least their families or their friends tell them, you do realize that you are charging a lot, and this person is like in the streets because of you, and you are contributing to that, and maybe they're okay with that, and that's a completely different discussion. But at least acknowledge that and have people reflect on their actions, and okay, I'm doing this, I'm making, like you said, I'm hiring someone, and this was also in the comics broke me, like the hot takes of, go hire your artists from all over the world because they charge less. And that was like, that's okay. Is that okay? Is that not okay? Because you had this idea that, okay, if I don't pay them, they don't have a job, so I will pay them, but I will pay them less. So yeah, you're taking advantage of them, so you know what you're doing. You're paying them, and if you want to feel good about yourself for saying, oh, I'm hiring from all over the world, I'm paying in dollars from for countries um, that are poor, and I'm paying this artist, and I'm the good guy. But you know you're paying them less than you would pay an artist in the United States. So know that if you can live with that, good for you. But I'm hopefully that there's people that can live with that, and someone in their families will tell them, you know what, you're doing something that it's wrong. You're taking advantage of the person, and yeah, hopefully they can think of their actions and say, you know what, next time they do a good job, I'm going to pay them a bit more because I'm not going to take advantage. So something like that. It's about respecting others, not seeing people as numbers, not seeing people as workers, and having some empathy. I think it's important to have empathy, and that's the key. You put yourself in the other's place, and you say, this is his situation, this is what he needs, can I do something about it? Maybe if I'm getting a lot of profits, maybe if I reduce my profits, that will, and that's the whole point with people having so much money. It's like, okay, maybe you can give away, you're winning, like, you're earning $1 million and you are giving away 10K, but you give 10K to someone that's poor, and that's life changing. And that different in perspective, it's like, you can just, they can give us so little, and we are going to be infinite more times, like, happier and have a better living. And yeah, because the idea is not like, oh, we're going to take all their money and we're going to redistribute everything. So it's not that extreme, because I don't think that would work either. But the idea is like, you can share what you have, and you can reflect on what you're doing. As you said, instead of hiring through an agency that's going to grab someone that doesn't know anything about law and will come here and work for me like 16 hours without, I'm not paying extra. He's working on weekends, he's working on holidays, no extras. And then 2 months later he's out, and then I grab the next one. You're treating people like they are like, it's like modern day slavery, right? We're paying them like just to be slaves. So you are treating them bad, you're taking advantage of them. And if you think about that, or other people help you realize, because some people, they are not like, they are not evil, because they are not doing this to treat people bad. But sometimes there's people that even have experienced that, and they are just moving along with what they think is correct. I had that in my previous job, where people, so you were like the trainee, you're where you're starting, and your boss is an asshole. He tells you to work late. He tells you that this is the spirit of the company, that you need to uh, put effort, that you need to um, do not take vacation, do not take sick days. You're going to work like this, and this person grows and thinks that this is normal. And then when he is the boss, he's going to treat the others the same way. But sometimes this person is not evil, because he went in and he was like excited to start working, but his boss turned him evil, and now he's right there. But he's got some issues. He's got some trauma from his past, and you have like a complete chain of people that come before and before and before and before, and the idea is just to break the chain. But that's it's hard because, for example, if I work like that, and I say, oh, my boss was an asshole. He made me work every day, and then you have people that are not going to work every day, so maybe your workload load is going to be higher. And you say, this is not fair, because when I was in their position, I had to work a lot, and now that I'm boss, they get to take these benefits that I didn't have. But it's something that you need to like suck it up and say, be the better person, be the better worker, and just say, okay, I'm going to stop this chain. I'm going to stop this culture of mistreatment and everything, and I'm going to be the bigger person and treat my people well. And that's what we try with these discussions, talking about this. And maybe someone thinks, oh, it's true, because I had a boss that was an asshole to me, and now I'm an asshole. So okay, I will take that step and I will change, and yeah, hopefully that happens.
You know what's funny in everything? It's not funny at all, Oscar, but it's kind of funny. All right. Is That's why Jeffrey Bezos started Amazon, is because he didn't like dealing with his asshole bosses, and now he is literally one of the biggest
Yeah.
asshole bosses on the fucking planet, to the point where the prick went to space with Captain fucking Kirk, right? Have you seen that video?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah,
Captain
yeah, I
Kirk, and
remember.
he's coming down. You can see him having that moment of clairvoyance of, wow, I just seen this marble in this blackness. And holy hell, man, we should really like. Here comes Jeffrey, woo, with a bottle of champagne. Like, would somebody have not smacked him with, I don't care what, like a bat, a 12-inch black dildo, like I don't just anything, like just somebody smack him really hard in the face with some very large, very stiff item to where he shuts the fuck up and let him finish his statement, because you could see, uh, Jesus Christ, why is Kirk's name escaping me?
William.
William Shatner. William
Yeah.
Shatner. Thank you. You said William, and I thought Shatner, man. Uh, and look, when you put your head through the driver's side window of a car when you're young and they don't really register it as a concussion properly like they would nowadays, hey, whatever. Can't say. Sometimes I'm bad with names. Uh, but yeah, William Shatner, man. Somebody just needed to shut Jeffrey Bezos the fuck up so Shatner could finish his thought, because like he was having a moment of clairvoyance, and then that dumbass came in as a dumbass, because I don't know what else to rightly call it, man. I really, really don't. Hey, I gotta know though, right? So the Never Ending Adventure, when's that actually coming out in its entirety?
Yeah, so we're currently live on Soup. Um, 30 days of campaign. If we, well, when we get funded, we're taking like 2 to 3 months to finish the book. It's a 32-page book, and it's a one shot. So I wanted to share that with people so they know that if they support the book, if they want to read the story, they will get a complete story, beginning, middle, and end. It's not going to be like you have to wait 6 months for the second campaign and issue two and that. And I wanted to do that as a creator, because as I told you, I'm building my portfolio. So I want to show that I can do a story that begins and ends, that I can stick a great ending to the story and have this like complete story. and then I will start doing like more regular series or something like that. But right now, this is a book that will, yeah. So the campaign ends in mid-July, so October, yeah, maybe October. It's a
So
good
your
it's a good
campaign ends
estimate.
mid-July.
Yeah, it's one
All
month
right,
from now.
so I just want to throw out there. Then I'm pretty sure I can get that edited this fast with everything else I've got to edit. That doesn't tell y'all when I shot this episode, but I'm just telling you all this shit's pre-recorded, ladies and gentlemen, because otherwise it wouldn't look as fancy as it does when y'all watch it and such. But so links should be in the descriptions if y'all want to go check that out. As someone that have read a plethora of comics, will say I look forward to seeing the rest of that story, man. It looks very interesting from the preview pages that you sent me. It kind of annoyed me a little that I'm like I wanted to see what was in between page 11 and 27. God fucking damn it. But I mean, I get why it gets completed like that. But at the same time, my brain, as like I said, as someone that's read a lot of comics, I was very intrigued to see everything in between and how you guys end up wrapping that up because it's
Yeah.
it's a very intriguing story. I do love how you've thrown in little tidbits, but you've made it to where you can legally get away with it. Um, you know, that's the Sentinel of Liberty's shield. Motherfucker, that is Captain America's shield. You damn well know it. All right. All right. Well, satire laws and all. I mean, hell, if anybody's reading Tim Seeley and uh, Money Shot right now, what they just did in issue
Yeah.
2 of Money Shot Comes Again, uh, if they didn't do it the way they did it, they would have gotten their asses sued off. So, I appreciate you just like being able to throw in those pop culture references as far as to make
Yeah.
it to where it makes the character more relatable, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
But
Exactly. Yeah, I
yeah,
was I was
eh.
yeah, I wanted to put those there because it's like this is someone that's passionate about comics. He wants to have fun, and you see the influences. You see that he loves the action, and even though this is a book that talks about mental health and some representation and life-changing decisions, anxiety and fears, and even a bit of ADHD and mental dispersion, and these are human topics. These are important, relevant. I wanted to make it fun. I wanted to honor what made me fall in love with comics 10 plus years ago, which was superheroes and action and jokes and fun and a big adventure that wraps everything up. So I wanted to put those references of fighting, that because this character is someone that is passionate, that knows comics and wants to create comics. So what made me like the more natural way for a person like this to fight is imagining that he's in a comic book, that he gets to hold the weapons and the abilities and the skills of his favorite characters. So yeah, that was something that I thought of that, and then I start like playing around with that, and I like how it went because, as you said, it makes the character relatable. It makes for a fun Easter egg. It goes within the story because it's not like some other character or whatever character is for some reason fighting with a lightsaber or something like that. But here is because he's passionate about this stuff.
Wait, wait,
He's
wait.
passionate about comic
Don't
books.
don't say that word. You're gonna get us sued.
No. I know I can say that. I know I can say that. I talked to someone about this stuff. I know that like you can, at least the lightsaber is something that's more universal. So yeah, uh,
In all
but for
fairness, the lightsaber technically came from anime originally.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's like a sword. So it's not
yeah.
it's like a sword, a lightsaber. Yeah, probably you can mention like a batarang or something like that. That's out of the question. Yeah.
The like if I don't know. I mean, we use all kinds of graphics on the show. Hell, I've thrown up the Punisher's graphic in reference to where just the fact that the police are using it, and nothing's gotten pulled yet. I'll put it like that.
Yeah, yeah. I think that it's important because it's also not the main focus of the book. So it's not like this character is like he is Captain America or he has the shield. all during all the book, and it's like it's this weapon of choice. It's like these are moments, these are flashes where he fights, and it's like he's borrowing these elements, but it's like that. It's I'm borrowing, I'm giving it back. So yeah, I didn't want it to be about that also because it takes away attention. It's like this is not like a focus. It's like a funny detail, an Easter egg, something for people to feel related and to know the character and know me as a creator because I chose what I love. I chose what I thought that fit in the context of the fight even. So yeah, I'm excited for that because I've put something in the preview, but there's a lot of surprises and a lot of characters that I chose that are interesting, and I'm excited to see how people will react to that.
Well, man, I asked my last question on the questionnaire, which is not something you can see on the Patreon if the Patreon's open yet. I really hope there's a Patreon link right down in the description, and y'all can go support to see all
Hopefully.
the questionnaire except the last question, because I'm not gonna post the last question because if like y'all read the last question, you could go, that dumbass didn't get into everything, because sometimes we go and veer like a real hard left or right or something, and it gets way off topic, and suddenly we're talking economics. Or in the case of Jason Coughlin, we're talking politics real hard, and just it happens, right? We say the comic or the artist or everybody you've got working on this book, right? Or like
Yeah.
how many different nations from like how many different nations you got working on this book, man? Just run, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's the US, Canada, I'm from Peru. The artists are Italy, Germany, and Brazil. So it's like, what was that, like 6 countries? Yeah.
I, I I wonder if you and I don't know, man. I wonder what the record is for that on a book of having people from different countries. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah,
kind
that's
of,
what.
I mean, it's got to be. I'll be honest, Oscar. If I'd be surprised if you have the record because those books where they like switch artists every 2 pages.
Yeah, like yeah, it's
Yeah, so I'm sure it's
probably an
one of
anthology
those.
of the book, the record.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure it's one of those that actually holds the record. Is where they're just switching artists like every time you turn the page. Um,
Yeah.
that would be my assumption. I may be wrong, man. I don't know. I'd have to do research that I'm not going to take the time to do. I've got editing to do. I do. That's just the fact of it, and making sure I research properly the people I've got coming on, man. And
Yeah.
uh, we're just gonna. I don't know how to veer into this properly without just bringing it up as far as the last thing you wanted to get into. I don't have a proper. I don't have a proper good segue for it, man. Um, except, I mean, well, you've got a lot of different countries working on this book.
Mhm.
From who you got from Canada?
Mary Landro.
Okay,
She's
not go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, no. Yeah, yeah, no. She's an artist from Canada. She did a campaign for a book for her book called Rich. It was on Kickstarter at the start of the year. Yeah, her style is like a dark fantasy and like gritty and very dark, like obscure. And that was great because I chose different artists because I got these side stories during the book, and it's like these are stories that spawn from the thoughts of the protagonist when he gets this mental dispersion and he gets just distracted, just like we did in this conversation. Like we start talking about something and then we go into another, and then we're talking about healthcare in the US. So something like that, but in a comic book. And I wanted to show how you can change stories. So each artist has a different art style for each of the stories, where he starts from to form a thought and then it spawns into something. So her style was perfect for this dark fantasy story that I was creating. And we have other artists that has a more grounded style, like it's more human. It's a story of the character's past, but it has nothing of fiction. It's a person's past. And then the other one, it's like a medieval story that's an allegory for immigration. and that's a more medieval style with creators, with fairies and an ogre. So that was cool working with many artists that had different art styles, different backgrounds from different countries, and that helped the book had these side stories, but these stories are related to the main story. So it's not like I'm having backup stories. It's not like it's an anthology. These stories are relevant in the main story and will help the protagonist realize some stuff. Why he's thinking of that? Because even when you get dispersed and you mention something that seems completely random, it has a an objective being there. You everything that you think has to be related with something that's maybe it's troubling, maybe you are thinking about that, maybe something that you will do, but everything that is on your mind is in there for a reason. And these side stories will serve the protagonist to discover who he is.
That you just made me want to read more. That's all I know. Right. I'll tell you what. The last thing that you said, man, we ain't getting into on this episode. Right. We're just not. But I will definitely, Oscar, be bringing you back for a pan con at a later point in time,
Awesome.
where we're going to be getting into a number of things up to including that particular subject. I ain't even saying what that subject is, y'all. Y'all want to tune? Y'all want to figure out what that is? Y'all just going to have to, subscribe or notify whatever service you're on, and make sure you keep track and note when Oscar comes on the next time on a pan con, and be like, oh, well, that must be that thing they were going to talk about that he said. That's that thing I sent you. You know what I mean? Sorry, that's a
Yeah.
way deep Harvey Birdman attorney at law reference. I don't know if anybody ever got it, but did you get that thing I sent you? Right. Now, I do, again, want you all to check out the links in the description. You can go check out his campaign that's running right now. This being able to check out the preview pages they got. This is a very intriguing story. It's drawn phenomenally. Like all the art I seen was on point, Oscar. It
Cool.
it
Thank you.
it
Thank you.
it looks. I'm just annoyed that how I had to skip around and I couldn't read the damn story, man. Right. So I do want to say though, right? If you've enjoyed this interview with Oscar, right, what I want you to do is I want you to send him a unicorn, right? Which I don't get that one at all, bro. Right? With some bionicles, right? And pollo a la brasa. It's a Peruvian chicken with fries and salad. I probably butchered the fuck out of that, didn't I?
No, it was good. It was good. I think it was yeah, better than my last name at the
You
start.
ain't. Thanks, Oscar. Just call me out on that at the end of the interview. All right. So to that note, right, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't enjoyed this interview, all right, and this is why I don't understand the unicorn. Uh, right. So you want a supernatural creature? You want one that you can't reason with, dude? That's a unicorn.
No,
You
but yeah, I
you
think
ain't
that
reasoning with no damn unicorn, man. I gotta
yeah, it
fuck.
depends. It depends on the type of unicorn. It depends. Yeah, if it's more like a horse, not really. But if it's yeah, a smart one, yeah.
You don't reason with no damn unicorn, Oscar. So let's say the first one, make sure you find a nice unicorn. I don't know how long that's going to take y'all, but find a nice unicorn, right? But if you didn't enjoy the interview, man, just find that mean son of a bitch,
Yeah.
horny unicorn that just don't give a damn, right? You cover them in tripe.
Yeah,
All
tribe
right,
is like
cover them in tripe. I was just making sure I pronounced that shit proper, bro. Right? Right? And then you pray to God that and Oscar's gonna sit there and pray to God he got that superpower of time manipulation so he can just stop it to get the fuck away. It ain't gonna work, bro. It's a unicorn. You are bone. Right? Beyond that, like I said, check all the links in the description. Like, subscribe, hit that notification button wherever you're at. Give it that thumbs up. Get your Comic on, and have a good night, y'all.
thank you for having me.